Every room I entered, I performed. I copied their voice. I copied their style, all in an attempt to be liked. Saying yes to every question was just easy, but it created so much pain inside with every self betrayal. It hurted so bad that it was not easy to be myself, to show my own flaws, imperfection was a taboo. To make mistakes and to fail was unacceptable. I wore the hat of perfectionism. It continued affecting every area of my life, attracting rejection, delay, failure, until it seemed an identity. But where did it start and how? Hello and welcome to my channel. I will take you through my story of healing and early childhood trauma on a journey of reflection where you will be able to see your own life, choices, decisions, identity through my story. I was born to a home with angry father who saw violence as the only answer or solution to a problem, and to a mother who saw that solving problems is only through manipulation and exploitation. A child under 7 years old, it was hard to survive. I had to make a choice to fit in. So I chose to make one of them a friend and the other an enemy, yet both of them were enemies to me. I performed, I played to please my mother every time I did something that was acceptable to her, even at the cost of my own peace. I was praised. It felt safe. This continued for years. I grew into a young woman, to a young girl, a youth, but still, in the depths of my mind, was that memory of childhood that shaped my identity and affected every part of my life. The labels. For how I behaved, I was labeled on and off, emotional, unstable, rude, disrespectful. It was hard, repeated over time. As I saw my own behavior, I started believing the labels. I saw myself through the judgmental eyes of other people. I depended on them for emotional safety, but it hurt each time. The heart of perfectionism continued. I became more anxious. I broke in presentations. It was heavy to explain a concept or a topic, not because I was not smart. In fact, I was the smartest of them. in some cases. I was the most educated of them, yet I crumbled. It felt hard to be wearing the hat to do what I wanted to do. I responded to every impulse, distraction that made me change my mind instantly, throw my dreams behind, and be destructive. Do the things that brought shame, self betrayal, heartbreak. It wasn't easy to see myself past what was happening. Neither did I look or ask for help. I numbed the pain, but the pain continued to eat me out on the inside. I struggled to breathe. I spent many sleepless nights, tears rolling off my eyes under a blanket, no one to see. I was in complete despair. This continued for years, but the pain grew stronger. I didn't know why I was doing the things I said I would never do. I didn't know why I was repeating mistakes and sins. I would always wake up, but a voice in my head telling me you are inadequate, you are not enough, you are unworthy. Breathing became so hard. Mixing with people was very difficult. I smiled when I was disrespected just to keep peace. I didn't know why this was happening. So that's when I started self help, reading self help books, watching thousands of videos on YouTube, TED Talk. I searched everything and I found some hope. But I was in the same place that broke my heart. I was living a life of suffocation, continuous abuse and disrespect and exploitation. So healing, as hopeful as it is, it was not giving me the results I needed because the weeds still continued. But then something happened that changed my life forever. And you won't believe it happened at the lowest moment of my life. But how did this happen? And that's why I'm going to tell you about the role of God in our evolution. God has created every soul with a purpose and has endowed us with a mind and heart and ability to see ourselves, how we think, how we feel, and to be able to identify our mistakes, work on ourselves, and grow. But when we tend to live continuously on fear, on anxiety, on self betrayal, we tend to look for solution outside. So God's help or evolving me came in the form of rejection. I was kicked out from the very house I built, the very people I cared for. I was afraid to lose them. I thought every day that losing them would be impossible for me to live a life. They knew this weakness in me and they used it each time to hurt me. I was broken, but God saw that I was so much attached. So when they kicked me out, at first it felt a rejection, a heartbreak, but eventually it started to feel a blessing. Suddenly, I felt a weight being lifted off my chest. I started feeling peace after having my own space. With the therapy and prayer, gradually I found a space within my heart where I can say no. I cut communication with them. I blocked their phones. I withheld the money I was giving, not because I hated them, but because I understood that I was constantly neglecting myself and I needed it more than them. So I started to put myself first before other people. But this was the hand of God. Through every heartbreak, through every betrayal, He showed me their true colors, their face. Not only them, He also showed me my own lies. The mask I was wearing, perfectionism, the fear of losing people, the wound of abandonment that I numbed for years, didn't want to see, didn't want to do anything with it because it was scary. Then it followed, facing the shadow, facing the shadow with a new beginning. But what is facing the shadow? It's about going back to the very place, to the early childhood that you and I don't want to go because it's painful. But that memory, God will show us that memory still stays in the back of our mind and affects every decision, every choice we make. It speaks in the form of harsh criticism, cruel comments. It constantly waters down our efforts to improve. It whispers as somebody is watching us, somebody is thinking something about us. We care so much about others' opinions. We depend on others' judgment. But with God's help and our continued effort, it becomes easy. Or, if not exaggerating, day by day, it becomes easier to face the shadow. So, what I struggled to avoid for years, then the time came where now I was able to face the shadow. I saw a little child, a little girl, silenced by her father to say yes to everything others expected of her. A little child, she was angry and resentful at her father because he forced her to do things she did not want to do. But she kept saying yes to everyone from that because she knew the consequences of saying no is physical abuse, harsh criticism, cruelty. She blamed herself, her own saying no, as the reason for her to be abandoned by her father and her mother. This cycle continued to play on my mind for years, but I was able to see it. I was able to see that little child who was constantly seeking for security and safety, but in the wrong place, by silencing my truth, by saying yes to everything, even when I knew the consequences of it, the irreparable damage. But it was easier to say yes than to say no and face the pain. Facing the shadow allowed me that to see this little child, this little girl, that she has been affected with this voice, with this memory that affected every area of her life. But it did not feel harsh. It did not feel cruel. It felt like acceptance. It felt like compassion. It did not feel blaming my father or my mother for their actions. It came as a liberation, seeing my own role, my own part in the mess. I started learning that regardless of my parents' bad choices, that I was also responsible. responsible to look inside of myself, to see what is aching, and to go look for help. I delayed too much, waiting for somebody to save me. I delayed for so long, not asking for help, not doing the therapy, not sitting with my pain. So now, I'm grateful for where I am, for the victory God gave me, because I can see my own mistakes, my own sins, and separate my identity from my mistakes and my sins. So I'm able to stand with the truth and say no to the distraction that made me do things I did not agree, I did not want to do. Things I did on impulse. The shadow often appeared as an impulse, a painful memory, a memory of rejection, a memory of harsh treatment, a memory of silencing my truth. But facing it is liberating. It helped me see my truest identity, that I'm human, flawed, imperfect. And it's okay to be flawed and imperfect. And that it's also human to make a mistake, to sin. And that I can correct my mistakes, that I can abandon the sins, that I can cease all bad habits, that all of these were learned and I can unlearn them. It also opened the door for me to connect with my Creator and to see from those past mistakes of neglecting myself, abandoning myself. I learned that all the times I was suffering, I did not think of God. I did not think of going to Him and asking, I'm suffering, I'm losing sleep, something is bothering me, and I need help. I did not do it the right way. I did not go for therapy early enough. But this is not about blame. This is about giving you a message. If you something in your life is aching, if something aches you in your heart constantly, if you are losing sleep, if you are suffering, give yourself time. Stop and go seek help. Seek a professional help. Talk to your God. Sit down with your pain and reflect. Don't judge yourself harshly. People will always judge you harshly if they are the ones around you. They don't know how to live well. They are not pushing themselves. They are not challenging themselves. Their mindset is going to spoil you, to affect you, to continue living in the bad cycle. So my advice and recommendation is don't wait. Go seek help. It won't feel perfect. Don't wait for perfection. Start now, where you are. Find your own space if you are living with abusive people. Take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically. Treat yourself well. Educate yourself and take the healing journey seriously. Whether you are a student or a professional or a parent, whatever role you have in life, if you have been abandoned, if you live in a continuous cycle where you do things you don't want to do, things that damage you, that hurt you, where you continue to accept things that compromise your own peace of mind, and you're not doing anything about it, please take action now. Help yourself. You are not your mistakes. You are not your sins. You are not your bad habits. You are a noble, sovereign soul who has the power to heal, to learn, to grow, to build better, and to unlearn everything that harms you. Everything evil you can unlearn. And you have a God that will walk with you each path. You are not alone. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more inspiring contents. Let's heal together. Before I close this session, I leave each one of you with a thought, with a question. Who are you without your money in the bank? Who are you without the people in your life? Who are you without your status or position of power? If you don't know, take time to know yourself.